Giving pain a purpose. That is what a Chicago father is doing after his teenage son was shot on the streets of Chicago. This is the story of Corneal Westbrooks and Caleb the Great, touchdown in New Orleans.
Caleb could see his dad in the crowd cheering him on, and that made him play even harder.
There are very few, if any, things in life that produce more grief, sadness, anger, and longing than for a parent to lose a child.
As they settled into their new home, Caleb began to notice a group of kids playing football in the park.
Corneal Westbrooks is now a member of a club he never wanted to be in. He lost his son Caleb at the age of 15.
I was convinced that if I was a good person and I raised my son to be a good person, that good things would follow. And this was the absolute worst thing.
In the aftermath of his son being shot to death, he has written a children's book entitled Caleb the Great, Touchdown in New Orleans.
Caleb had been told about the importance of hard work, but now he was witnessing firsthand that with hard work and dedication, anything is possible.
As a single father, Corneal moved him and his son to New Orleans for a job and then moved back here to Chicago several years ago.
They practiced together, learning new skills and plays.
They shared a love of sport and Madden football games. Caleb loved playing football too, and the friendships that he would form. To boot, Dad says his son was pretty good too.
Me being from Chicago, being a Chicago guy, raised during the Jordan era, I wanted my son to play basketball. Right? I wanted my son to be like Mike, because at 5'7" and 160 pounds, I could never be like Mike. He had other ideas, and he loved football. I think what he loved the most about football was the camaraderie. I think he loved being a part of a team. Dad, I love football. I want to be like Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, Caleb said.
The book follows a father and son as they experience their new life in the Big Easy, and how learning the game of football would translate into a young man's personal growth on and off the field. After moving back to Chicago, Caleb pursued his passion of playing with the pigskin. But try as he might to keep his son out of harm's way, it found its way to him. One day in January of 2022, when he got out of school early at Rounder College Prep in the city's Westtown neighborhood.
As I've been told, he got out of school early that day. They were testing. Him and some friends were on their way to Wendy's to get food. They were approached by a young man who went to a neighboring school. The young man threatened to rob them. Caleb kind of stood up to him. You know, you would, in those instances, I guess most people would be afraid, but Caleb has never been afraid. He's always been fearless. And in that moment, you know, he stood up to this bully. But unfortunately, a gun was produced, and he shot Caleb 3 times.
As he and others in the family tried to work their way through the heartbreak, it occurred to Corneal he needed to take the lead when it came to healing, or trying to anyway, the emotional wounds.
I was angry at first. It was difficult to be angry. I didn't realize how much of a toll that was actually having on me and those around me. And because I looked at my family, my mom, my brother, and the impact that it had on them, I had to, in some ways, step up and be a leader and focus more on the legacy he left behind versus how his life ended. Caleb actually played chess. He actually still has his traveling chess set.
All this time later, Corneal has kept his son's bedroom the same as it was the day he died. And in writing this book, he wanted the world to know how he lived, not just how Caleb died.
The way his life ended, I didn't want to write that ending.
Corneal's mantra to his son was simply this: don't be good, be great. And to other young men out there, this dad has a message for you too.
Don't be afraid to dream. this world is so much more than the neighborhood that you grew up in.
Caleb the Great is available for purchase online at Amazon and other retailers. On January 31st, Corneal, who works in pharmaceutical sales and teaches college courses at his alma mater, Dominican University, will continue to keep the love alive. He's going to appear at the James Jordan Boys and Girls Club on West Monroe for the 6th annual Black Child Book Fair, and hundreds of CPS school kids are expected to be in attendance and get that message as well.